following story excerpt is taken from my great aunt's family biography, The Ma and Pa Story, by Anne Edwards. She's a terrific writer, able to make all her stories feel like they're being told, not just read. So let's learn storytelling skills and practice all aspects of pronunciation at the same time. Here, Anne's older siblings try to make her scared of the dentist. How often I'd heard Yiddy, Mindy, Rosie, and Yetta discuss their dental woes. But not one of them had baby teeth like mine or Joe's or Pete's. Obstinate teeth, refusing to budge. Not one of them had experienced the pulling of teeth, actual extractions. The dentist's drill was their deadliest threat. The man's a real snake in the grass, Mindy concluded. His intention, he claims, is to buff and to polish each tooth with his drill. But the buff is a bluff, and he strikes without warning, like an electric shock, like 2,000 volts. All four of them chimed in to describe how the drill had droned past enamel and dentin with jackhammer force, exploding through concrete, boring deeper and deeper, never stopping until it hit bottom, sea level. How often? You want to link the W to often. So you say waffen. How often? It's all said in one breath of air. You can either say often or often. How often I'd heard. I also link the N in often to I'd, so it sounds like nighed. Often I'd. I'm going to hold my breath and make a stop on the D. I'd heard. I'd heard. How often I'd heard Yiddy, Mindy, Rosie, and Yetta. So I change the intonation there. I go down, up on Yiddy, and then I go up, down, up on Mindy. Yiddy, Mindy, Rosie, and Yetta. So I alternate the type of intonation in between the different names to make it more interesting. And will sound like in, and Rosie links to and with a Y. Rosie and Yetta discuss their dental woes. Make sure you stress the second syllable of discuss because it's a verb. We're going to highlight the word their because it's in italics. That's how the author made it. Discuss their dental woes. We don't have to say the T in dental, but you could. It could be dental or dental. Woes ends in a Z sound. Dental woes. When we make a word plural that ended in a vowel, the S will sound like a Z. But not one of them. I'm making sure that there's a held T on but and on not. You have to hold your breath there. But not one of them had baby teeth like mine or Joe's or Pete's. I'm going to stress the word one for the storytelling to make it more dramatic. But not one of them had baby teeth like mine or Joe's or Pete's. Make sure you have a real short A on had because that's the main verb in the sentence. Baby, make sure the Y is really a long E. A lot of people have a habit of reducing that long E, but it needs to be a long E. Baby teeth. We're stressing baby more than teeth because it's a compound noun. Baby teeth like mine or Joe's or Pete's. I'm going to stress mine, Joe, Pete, but I'm going to connect them with reduced ors that sound like Mine or Joe's. Link the N to the Mine or Joe's. Now the Z at the end of Joe's is going to link to or and sound like Joe's or Pete's. Make sure there's a held T in Pete's so that you're not saying peace, but Pete's. Obstinate teeth. We stress the first syllable in ob because it has an ate suffix. But the A is going to sound like a short I because this is an adjective. Obstinate teeth, refusing to budge. I'll stress the U in refusing because it's a verb. The S will sound like a Z, refusing. The two can either sound like ta or da and still have good rhythm. Refusing to budge. Make sure the J ends with a little ZH after it and comes down at the end of the sentence. Refusing to budge. Not one of them had experienced the pulling of teeth. Make sure one starts with a W and that you stress it. Not one of them had experienced. The had is not a main verb. It's a helping verb, so we will reduce the short A to a short E. Had experienced. Experienced is a complicated word with a lot of syllables. Let's break it down. The X sounds like a KS, X. The peer sounds like P long E and then YER. Expeer. And then we need to say rience, rienced. Re has a long E, and you connect it to the letter E with a Y. Rienced. Not one of them had experienced the pulling of teeth. Make sure you link pulling to of. The NG links to of. Pulling of, ngov. Experienced the pulling of teeth. Also with experienced, I can either have a held T or I can make a slightly clear T before the. Experienced the pulling or experienced the pulling of teeth. Actual extractions. So in actual, I stress the first syllable and then the TU makes a CH sound. We connect the U to the A with a W. Actual. The AL is just a schwa plus L. Actual extractions. Again, in extractions, the X is a KS. We stress the A because of the IO suffix. The TI makes an SH sound, and the S at the end is actually a Z because the S is following an N. Extractions. The dentist's drill was their deadliest threat. In dentist, I don't have to say the T. When you have NT and an unstressed vowel, you could eliminate the T, or you can keep it, the dentist's drill. But you do need to have a held T at the end of dentist and before the apostrophe S. Dentist's drill. Drill, the DR sounds like a JR, not drill, but drill. You'll want to round your lips there. The dentist's drill was there. We want to link the Z and was to the TH and there. Was there. I don't stop between those words. Was their deadliest threat. So I will stop after the D in dead, and then I say Lee with a long E. Deadliest. Now I don't have to say the T because we have ST and another consonant, so we can cross out that T. Deadliest threat. The man's a real snake in the grass, Mindy concluded. Man's will end in a Z sound because it follows the voiced consonant N. But I want to link Z to the article so it's Z. The manza, the manza. Real, we're going to make the long E and connect it to ul with a Y. Real. When I do that, I can stress the word real more and make it more dramatic. The man's a real snakin', snakin'. I'm going to hold the K and let out a G, which connects to the N. Gin. Snakin', snakin'. I don't want to say snakin'. That's too much K, and it will cause you to stress in or not to link. The man's a real snake in the grass, Mindy concluded. Now you have a quotation, and then you have the person who said it with a verb. The person who said it with a verb is just tagged on to the end of the sentence. You can say it all in one breath of air. The man's a real snake in the grass, Mindy concluded. I'm stressing grass the most. It receives my primary phrase stress, grass. Mindy concluded is quieter right after that. A real snake in the grass, Mindy concluded. Make sure you don't say concluded. It's concluded. So the C-O-N is reduced to a schwa, kun, and you stress the clue, cluded, concluded. But come down again at the end of the sentence. Mindy concluded. His intention, he claims, is to buff and to polish each tooth with his drill. His intention is linked together with a Z, his'n, his'n. Intention, you stress the T-E-N. The T-I sounds like an S-H. His intention, and I'm going to do the up, down, up intonation here. I come up a little at the end of T-I-O-N to show that I have more to say. His intention, he claims, is to buff and to polish each tooth. So when I say buff and to polish, I want to link buff and together so it sounds like buffin', buffin', buff and to polish. I don't need to say and, just in, and we link F to in, so it sounds like fin, buff, and to polish. You could either say ta or da here. It could be buff and to polish, or slightly slower would be buff and to polish with a T. Buff and to polish, I come up a little at the end of polish to show that I'm not done with the sentence. Buff and to polish each tooth with his drill. To be dramatic, we want to stress the word each here. It makes it a little bit scarier. With his, I'm going to take out the H, which we are allowed to do, and link the TH to the I. So it sounds like thiz. The S in his sounds like a Z. With his, with his, with his drill. Make sure that DR is a JR. With his drill. But the buff is a bluff, and he strikes without warning, like an electric shock, like 2,000 volts. I'm starting a little higher on but to highlight it. But the buff is a bluff. Make sure you link buff is it's all linked together, consonant to vowel linking. The S in is sounds like a Z. Buff is a. Buff is a bluff. I go up on bluff because I'm not done with the sentence. And sounds like in. Remove the H. Any. Make sure he still has a long E. Any. And he strikes without warning. I highlight the word strikes because it's an interesting verb. Strikes without warning. And warning, make sure you actually have an ER sound in there. So we'll do it with a long O and an ER. War, warning. Lichen, lichen. I hold the K and let out a G. An is reduced to N with a short E. So we get lichen. Like an electric shock. I'm not done, so I go up a little on shock. Like an electric shock. Like 2,000 volts. To highlight the number 2, I actually went down on it. Sometimes we go down when we stress something. Like 2,000 volts. Make sure you hold the number 2 long enough so it doesn't sound like the preposition to, T-O. Like 2,000 volts. Volts has an O and an L. The long O connects to all with a W. Volts. All 4 of them chimed in to describe how the drill had droned past enamel and dentin. 4 of connects by linking the R. But the number 4 has a long O, a W, and an ER. All 4 of them chimed in. Make sure we link the ED with a fast D to the word in. Chimed in to describe. For 2, I can either say duh or tuh. Either one will give me good rhythm. Chimed in to describe, or chimed in to describe. If I do it very fast, I'm more likely to use a D after the voiced consonant N. Chimed in to describe. Chimed in to describe. If I do it slightly more slowly, I might use a T to make it clear. Chimed in to describe. Make sure describe stresses the second syllable because it's a verb, and that the duh is reduced with a schwa, not describe, but describe. How the drill, JR in drill. Had will be reduced to head because it's a helping verb. How the drill had droned past. Droned past. I'm going to let out a clear D on droned so that we make sure we can hear it. How the drill had droned past enamel. I'm going to take the T in past and change it to a fast D to link it to the vowel E in enamel. Past enamel. Then I link enamel to and by saying lin. Past enamel and dentin. Past enamel and dentin. Dentin could be a clear T or no T. Dentin, like a held T. Either way. Past enamel and dentin with jackhammer force. Make sure force has a long O and an ER. Force. Exploding. The X in exploding is a KS. Don't forget the K and the S. With jackhammer force, exploding through concrete, boring deeper and deeper. I don't want to say deeper and deeper. It's not really a P. If you say a real P, then you'll overemphasize the ER, which needs to get reduced. So we hold the P and let out a gentler B. Deeper, deeper. And that BER is lower in pitch and quieter than deep. Deeper and deeper. I will link the R and deeper to the N and. Deeper and deeper. Never stopping. Stopping, I'm going to hold the P and then let out a B. Never stopping until it hit bottom. Make sure you hold the T's and it hit, until it hit bottom. Bottom will have a fast D in place of the T because it's between vowels. And the second O is actually a schwa. Don't be confused by the spelling. Until it hit bottom, sea level. How often I'd heard Yiddy, Mindy, Rosie, and Yetta discuss their dental woes. But not one of them had baby teeth like mine or Joe's or Pete's. Obstinate teeth, refusing to budge. Not one of them had experienced the pulling of teeth, actual extractions. The dentist's drill was their deadliest threat. The man's a real snake in the grass, Mindy concluded. His intention, he claims, is to buff and to polish each tooth with his drill. But the buff is a bluff, and he strikes without warning, like an electric shock, like 2,000 volts. All four of them chimed in to describe how the drill had droned past enamel and dentin with jackhammer force, exploding through concrete, boring deeper and deeper, never stopping until it hit bottom, sea level.